This single technique in After Effects will save you like hours and days of time by enabling you to convert your animation projects into templates for easy reusability and customization without any need to duplicate hundreds of assets that you have imported in the project panel or inside the nested precoms. So let me show you what exactly I'm talking about. Okay, we are in After Effects and here we have a lower third text animation. Now, let's say I want to duplicate this entire animation and I want to change the text and some color of some of the elements. So one way you can do that is simply search the main composition here in the project panel and just duplicate it over here. Bring it here in the timeline. Now, the problem you will face is if I get inside the composition, you can see there are three more precoms. So to truly duplicate this entire animation, I have to also replace this or duplicate this precoms and replace it with a new precomp and repeat the same process if I have more precoms that are nested inside the precoms. So if you use this process to reuse your animation, then you will end up a lot of time just duplicating layers and precoms rather than doing the actual work. So there is a more efficient way which will speed up your workflow by at least by 10 times. And for that, we will use essential properties. So if you have no idea about essential properties, let me show you how to use it. Okay, we are in After Effects and the very first thing we have to do is turn on the essential graphics panel. So inside the project panel, this is the main precomp of the animation that we need to reuse. So let's right click on it and let's click on Open in Essential Graphics. This will open up the Essential Graphics panel for this composition. Now you can name it if you want. And now let's get inside the composition and let's get inside the name composition first. So now we can bring any properties from here in the timeline and place it here in the Essential Graphics panel. So let's start with the source text of this text layer and place it over here. Right now we can change the text directly from the Essential Graphics panel. We don't have to get inside the precomp to change the text. Now let's add few more properties. So inside the effects, we have applied a fill effect. Let's add the color over here so that we can directly change the color from the Essential Graphics panel. Now let's get outside this composition. Let's get inside the title text, and for the title text again, let's bring the source text and also the fill color. Now let's get outside this composition and here we have few null objects to directly control this layers from using this null object. So these null objects are just parented with this precomps. So if we scale it up and scale it down or move the position, then the text is going to move with it. So this is for the title text, this is for the name text, and this is for the logo. So let's select the name text and the logo and open the scale property. We can directly add the scale property like this. So we can basically add all the transform properties here in the Essential Graphics panel, and including that, we can also add all the properties for the effects that you have applied on the layer, and also some of the properties of the shape layer as well. And not only that, you can even add a footage here in the Essential Graphics panel. So let's get inside the change logo over here. So here we have a footage of the logo. If we simply drag and drop it here in the Essential Graphics panel, so now we can change the logo and replace it with another image file directly from the essential properties. Okay, let's get back to the main composition over here and let's close all the other precomps. And one more thing. For the text properties here in the Essential Graphics panel, you can even add more options. Like if you click on the edit properties, you can enable custom font selection, enable size adjustment. I'm just going to disable it because we have added separate property for the size adjustment. And then you can even add a flux style. So basically you can change it to all caps, italic, or small caps. And also the font style, you can get all the options for the font style that is installed in your system. And let's enable the properties for the other text layer as well. So now here in the essential graphics panel, things are a bit cluttered. So we can even properly organize it by grouping it together. So let's add a group from here. Let's click on add group and let's start with adding a group named name text and another group named title text. So now I'm going to select the title text properties and drag it and drop it here inside the group, like the text, then the fill color, and the scale. Same we are going to do for the name text. And now everything is grouped and properly organized. Okay, so now let's see how we can use it. So let's duplicate this precomp one more time and let's place it over here. And here inside the properties panel, you can already see all the properties of the essential graphics panel are added over here. Now, if I open the transform properties or open the properties inside the layer, here you can see the essential properties. Here you will see all the properties that we have just added right now. Let's say I want to change the text. Let's change the name to my name. Let's change it to Suman Shaha and let's change this as animator. You can see I have just duplicated this layer inside the same pre-comp. We haven't even touched the project panel. We have done nothing, and we already got another copy of it. Now if you want to change the logo over here, let's select the logo. Here is the logo property that we have added for the footage. Now here is the Purple Pie Studios logo. Simply click and drag and drop it over here. You can see the logo has also been replaced directly from the essential properties panel. Now if I get inside the composition, you can see nothing has changed. It is as it is. It's just that the essential property of that particular layer has saved that updated value, but inside the precomp nothing has changed. But one more thing, if you change anything directly in the essential graphics panel, it will make the change in both the layers. So this one you need to keep in mind. You can make any changes in the essential properties or from the properties panel. It's going to only affect that particular layer. But if you change anything here in the essential graphics panel directly, it is going to make the change in all the layers. And not only that, this essential properties panel also has this stopwatch. That means you can literally animate these properties. So for example, let's move this text over here. Let's say I want to animate the scale property of this lower third or this title text. So let's add a keyframe on the scale property of the title text. Let's move the playhead over here and I would scale it up to about 150. Let's say I also want to change the color of the text. So let's add a keyframe on the fill color and let's change it to a different color. You can see with the essential properties, you also get the option to animate the properties whatever you add here in the essential graphics panel. So like this, you can use the essential properties of a character rig and other assets to reuse it in your projects or reuse it later on and do some customization depending on how many properties you have linked with the essential graphics panel. Alright, so that is it for this video and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.